Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Sharakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. So we, being the spirit souls, are intended to always associate with the Supreme Lord Krishna in the spiritual sky, where there are innumerable spiritual planets with innumerable spiritual living entities. But those who are unfit to live with God, so they are sent to this world here, that is material world. So material world is called as Bhautika Jagat, because material world is created by the inferior energy of God. So we have already discussed in the previous sessions that God has many energies. So in that the superior energy is the living entities, the Jiva Tattva. And the inferior energy is the Prakriti, the material nature, which is not conscious, which is Jada Prakriti. So the living entities, those who are not having the intense love for God and they are not fit to associate with God, are sent to this world, in this material world. So this world is created, is maintained, and it gets destroyed at a certain time. So Krishna's expansion is Mahavishnu. One of the expansion is Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu, when he lies in the Karana Sagar, that is causal ocean, so there when he exhales from every body pores of his divine bodies, so many of the Brahmandas emanate. So in Brahma Samhita it is mentioned that Yasyaika nishvashita kala matavalamya Jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanata Vishnur mahanya yasya kala vishesho Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So it's mentioned here that Yasyaika nishvashita kala matavalamya. Yasya means is Brahma speaking about Krishna, Vishnu. So Yasya eka nishvashita. Nishvashita means to exhale. Ushvasa, nishvasa. So Yasyaika nishvashita kala matavalamya Jivanti loma vilaja jaganandanartha. Loma means the like the airs are there in the pores of the body. Similarly, from the pores of the divine spiritual body of Lord Narayan emanates the Jagat, that is universe. Jagadanda, Anda means the Brahmanda. Jagadandanatha, Vishnur Mahani Sayya Yasya Kala Vishesho. So that is from the body of Mahavishnu. So that Mahavishnu is nothing but a Kala. Kala means the expansion or the Vistara of Krishna. One of the Vistara of Krishna. So that I worship that Krishna, that is Govinda, who is my primeval Lord. Like that Brahma is speaking in this verse. And in each Brahmanda, in each universe, again the expansion of Lord Vishnu, Mahavishnu. The expansion of Mahavishnu is Garbhodaka Vishnu. So he enters into each universe. And there he creates an ocean called Garbhodaka ocean by his perspiration. And on the perspiration, on the Sheshnag, Lord Narayan lies there. And from the navel of the Lord Narayan, a flower sprungs, that is lotus flower, and on the lotus flower, Brahmaji takes birth. He is the first living entity in the universe, in the Brahmanda. and he is assigned the task of further creation. So further, Brahmaji, when he receives the complete Vedic knowledge from Krishna, from Narayan, so there he creates the 14 planetary systems. And just beside these 14 planetary systems, so there is a Ksheera milk ocean. And in that Ksheera there is again another Vishnu, another expansion of Mahavishnu. So this expansion means the Vistara Rupa. So Krishna expands in many multiple forms for different roles. So there he expands as a Ksherodakashayi Vishnu. So there also he lies with Lakshmi ji on the serpent, that is Sheshnaga. And when Devatas face trouble, so they approach this Vishnu, that is Ksherodakashayi Vishnu. And he is the one who expands into innumerable forms, that is as Paramatma, and enters this world. So in this material world, every living entity, when they accept different kinds of bodies due to their past karma, they try to get maximum pleasure out of the body. And body is nothing but the effect of senses. And once the living entity is placed in a certain kind of body, it comes under the control of the laws of nature. So these are more subtler nature than what we can observe. What we can observe, the laws of nature, is the physical laws, like law of gravity and many other laws, law of conservation of energy. But these laws are more subtler, which directly act on the soul. So that's why when the soul is placed in a particular kind of body, so it immediately comes under the control of the material nature. And because the body is matter, it acts according to the prakriti of that matter. Like the nature has created many prototypes, many designs, and because of the past karma and desires of the soul, it is placed into the body, and then it exactly behaves like that body. For example, when the soul is placed in the body of a dog, it behaves like a dog. It exactly acts like a dog. It has to act like a dog. Similarly, when the soul, living entity, is placed in a body of a hog, it eats stool and it feels that is most pleasurable. So like this, so the living entity, even if it is placed in the body of a demigod, that is Devata, then he has to act like a Devata. So this is how the more subtler the law of nature acts on the soul. So in this world, all of us are constantly trying to maximize and increase our happiness in our life, and we are always trying to decrease or minimize the suffering in our life. So this is called Atyantika Sukha Pravritti and Atyantika Dukkha Nivritti. Pravritti means to increase, Nivritti means to decrease. For this, we are trying to acquire different positions, and we are thinking, okay, by having that situation, we may become more happy. But Krishna mentions in Bhagavadgita, in chapter 8, that in this material world, any position is temporary. None of the position is permanent. We may get certain position or we may get certain accomplishment, but that is not a permanent asset. So he mentions here that Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartinurjuna Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanma na Vidyate. So here Krishna is mentioning that Brahma Bhuvana Loka. Brahma means in this material world, in this universe, there are 14 planetary systems, and the middle one, the central one, is the Bhuloka. And above Bhuloka, there are 6 planetary systems. That is Bhuvarloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and then Satyaloka. So, and below Bhuloka, there are 7 planetary systems. So here Krishna is mentioning from Abrahma Bonaloka, means from the Brahmaloka, topmost loka, that is Satyaloka, and if you come to this Bhuloka, Martyaloka, where we are staying, and you can go below also any other lokas. So none of the position is permanent. He has to again die. He has to again come back to this Martyaloka, or he can go anywhere based on his karma. Abrahma Bhuvanaloka Punaravartino Arjuna. Punaravartino means he again comes back to his original position, maybe in Martyaloka. So none of the position in this world is permanent. But Krishna tells at the end that Mamopetya tu kaunteya. Mam means if you come to me, Krishna is telling. If we go to the spiritual world, spiritual sky, that is Vaikuntha, so there Punarjanma na vidyate. You will not come back to this world again. There is no reincarnation. There is no Punarjanma. So one is completely liberated and he is there with Krishna all the time. So in this world, the search for happiness never ends. There is a constant struggle to find happiness in our life. So whatever activity we may do in our life is only to become more happier. But search for happiness in this world is like a mirage. A mirage, it appears that there is a water, far place, but there is no water. Similarly, in our search of happiness, we may think that okay, that thing will give me happiness, but actually there is no happiness. Happiness means that which perpetuates. Happiness is not that which ends at certain time. So that's why happiness is of the soul. It is connected to the soul, not the material bodily happiness. So for the bodily happiness we can term as pleasure, because pleasure is short-lived. So there are varieties of pleasures in this world which are but a short-lived. It just gives for some time, but happiness is only obtained when the soul comes to his original consciousness of God. So that's why Krishna mentions in Bhagavadgita that Mamutpetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gatim. So Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam means Krishna is mentioning here that once you come back to me, so then there will be no reincarnation, there will be no punarjanma. You don't have to again face all the material miseries of this world. And you don't have to go back to this world. He is mentioning this world as Dukkhalaya. So Krishna is terming this material world as Dukkhalaya. In Sanskrit there are words for different places. Like for the library, in Sanskrit we call as Pustakalaya. Because in library you'll only find books everywhere. In different racks there are different kinds of books present. So that is a place of books. So that's why we call it as Pustakalaya. Alaya means the place. Pustaka means the place where you can only find books. So similarly here Krishna mentioning this world as Dukkhalaya. Dukkhalaya means a place of miseries. So Dukkhalayam and Ashashvatam is mentioning that this is a place of misery and also temporary things. The things which are always changing, always depreciating, always getting destroyed, and never stays all the time with soul. Hare Krishna.